What that is? Discipline. Selfish.
No joke. We're legitimate.
Fucking do this, then do it. Do it 100%, because I'm trying to.
We recognize that we are limitless.
You gotta be a champion to become a champion, right? Winning is a habit because we create habits that lead to good execution and success.
Good evening. It's the Coaches Show, episode 77, and we are live. I'm one of your two hosts, Coach Mike Bianca of San Diego Dynasty, and with me, as always, is my friend, Coach Ryan Gray of Red Legion, your other host. Major League Paintball's Midwest Open is in the rearview mirror. Let me tell you, held just outside of Cincinnati in Hamilton, Ohio, I believe it was. Man, it may have been hot, but what a venue. That was some of the best grass and flat land we've played on to date, and I doubt I'll get too many disagreements on that statement. So tonight, we'll review the thrills, chills, comedy, and drama from that event. There was drama. On the agenda tonight is discussion surrounding our coaches clinic and the green light we just received to do another one in Texas. So stay tuned for that. The Pro 3v3 format, the layout, the WNXL, the semi-pro division, and of course, the professional division. But the best part, we will get to do most of it with a very special guest. Coach and commentator Rich Telford will be joining us tonight with his opinions and comments regarding the event. This is one you won't want to miss. So stay tuned. I can't wait to get this one started with our friend Rich. This episode is brought to you by Max Sportswear. If you're a field owner wanting to up your presentation to your customers, get maxed. They've got custom ref and team gear to make your field team and refs look amazing. Give them a call today and you won't regret it, I promise. And of course, BKI, the best knowledge in paintball. Be sure to check out the upcoming summer camp. The sign-up link is in the comments. You can learn from the pros, shoot great paint, eat good food, and more than likely have a pretty unforgettable experience. Hey, I'm going to say it again. Keep an eye out for the next Coaches Show Clinic I just mentioned a few seconds ago. I believe that will be taking place Thursday, September 11th. So get signed up early for that. As a matter of fact, Ryan, that's a great segue into our first topic of the evening, our Coaches Clinic from this past event. What say you, my friend?
Yeah, man, I thought it was great. There were a couple times this is the first one that we have done on communication. And there were, I think you and I both saw a couple times, like some eyes sort of glassing over as we got maybe a little bit too dense with the content. Yeah. Like drug them into the deep water a bit, but then I felt like we were able to back out of it and explain it differently to where some light bulbs went off. Yeah. So I thought it was really, really good. And it was interesting how I think people started to make the connection between how the communication flow works and the play itself. So I was really happy with it.
Yes, I felt the engagement was fantastic. At some point, though, we did see that sea of eyes, kind of like, whoa, back up. But to your point, my favorite aspect of doing this is when that light bulb does go off. Mm-hmm. And I think absolutely when we were able to backtrack, and they asked such good questions, and you and I were able to kind of repackage as, that communication aspect and, that natural flow from understanding the zoning calls, the closing, the mid-game scramble, the communication necessary to close out, and that communication off the field. A lot of good questions about the communication off the field, and I thought that was really good. My favorite aspect, of course, is when we always talk about the winning culture. Getting into that, I love talking about that sort of stuff because it's so imperative these days, right? People need to understand, what are you trying to do? What is our goal? What is our goals? How will we measure success? You got to have a positive team environment, give credit when credit is due. And in a way, we talked about emotional intelligence. We got into that a little bit, right? It's just as important as IQ, right? You got to know how to communicate and read the room. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Same. Yeah, I thought it was great. It was really good. And I think for Texas, you and I are spinning some ideas around. Just wanted to throw this up here real quick. Andrew Ormsby says it was an amazing clinic. I already want to do another one in Texas. Well, you're in luck. We're gonna have one. So we'll see you there.
That's right.
And Andrew, if you have an idea for a concept or something you want us to talk about, throw it to us. We'd love to put it in the mix. So
I believe it was Andrew who hooked us up with these very cool gifts.
it was,
I got one that says we're legitimate, and yours says give 100%.
Do it 100%.
Do it 100%.
Because I'm trying to.
Yeah,
it just says do it 100%.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Very sweet of him.
It was.
Yeah. So let's jump right in, right? So let's bring Rich in. We'll talk really quick. I hadn't thought about really talking about the venue, but I think we should a little bit.
Sure.
Because I do think it's important. Legend.
Legend. Welcome, sir.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
It's always good to have perspective, right? Have a different perspective besides just us.
From a special guest.
That's right.
Special. I got that, Bianca. Here's our special guest.
Special.
Treat him nicely.
You guys be really nice.
You got to be really nice.
Talk slow for him.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah. So, Rich, you got to watch a lot of games.
I did.
Obviously, you saw the venue.
The weather at my house was amazing.
Yeah. So I meant really just got to see the venue from the camera angles, those kind of things. It was, from my perspective, maybe the nicest venue we've been to in the last couple of years.
The grass looked the best that I've seen forever.
Perfect, right?
And it seemed like it lasted like the whole event. It was very impressive.
It did.
It did.
Yeah,
When
the parking.
people say that they'd rather have grass than turf, that's what they mean by grass, right? Not all the other shit everyone plays on.
Well, all the divisional fields were beautiful too.
Yeah.
Like they were plush. Like it's the first time I've like walked a venue and I didn't feel like, oh man, I'm glad we don't have to
Someone's
play
gonna
here.
get hurt.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't have to play here, right? Like
Yeah,
it was beautiful. They
looked good.
They really picked a great venue, and hopefully they invite us back, right?
Yeah,
it was
hopefully.
hot.
Yeah,
it was hot,
looked
but
like
no
it was hot.
rain, and it was pretty cheap to go there. Like food was cheap. Like
Honestly, that's a big deal, right? Like if you can save a couple of grand for that event, that's a big deal.
yeah, we flew into Chicago, practiced at Blast Camp, and then drove over to the venue on Tuesday. It was nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So cheap.
Cheap is good, man.
Cheap.
Paintball's expensive. Anytime you can do it for cheaper is good.
Yeah, let's dive into the 3-on-3. Did you watch that?
I did. Yeah.
All right,
I thought it was fun. You know, I think if we're looking to have like an extra day of paintball on Thursday, you know, I didn't really like the fact that some of the teams didn't play their starters, right? Which I totally understood that, but kind of knocked that a little bit off for me. When when you win as like for X Factor, when they win and they know that a couple of the teams they played didn't have their better players on there, it's a little hollow. But it looked like fun. I don't like 3-man on a huge 5-man field. If they're going to do 3-man, I think they should do it on 3-man field. But yeah, I mean, I like watching paintball, whether it's 1-man, 3-man, 5-man, right?
Yeah.
Can I give my opinion on that though? Like,
Please.
I will tell you, like the fact that it was on the wider field,
Yep.
I think created a lot of space where moves were made.
For
Where if
creativity.
you narrowed it, I think it would lock up, right? But because the field was wide enough to keep the shots long, guys were able to do things and play in space that they normally wouldn't be able to. Like I thought the wide field, like, because I was like you at first, Rich. I thought maybe if this was more narrow, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, hang on, if it gets more narrow, cross shots are going to be more dangerous. It's going to slow things down. I think in order to keep it up tempo, it has to be on the 5-man field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked about 60% of a 5-man field.
Yeah.
So big enough where you have some options, but not so big that if the guys get outside and lock it up, that it slows it down significantly.
Yeah. I see both sides of the coin. First of all, I think it was incredibly fun to watch.
It was fun to watch.
Movement was dynamic, especially on the large field like this. And Ryan, you make an excellent point. Zone control wasn't is going to be difficult, right? I think some games still slowed way down, but I feel that was the layout. The limited paint, I love that aspect.
I don't hate that at all.
I don't hate that. Although that I'm noticing that whenever you have limited, that doesn't always mean we're going to have an up-tempo match.
No,
But don't you think those teams that played the slow tempo, that was just their mentality?
yeah,
Yes.
I've had that conversation
Yeah.
10 times since
It
that
wasn't
event.
the
Like,
layout. It wasn't
some
the
people are
paint,
just
it was
going to
the
play
mentality.
slow no matter what
Yeah.
the layout is, because that's their style of paintball, and they don't know how to do anything else.
I think that's part of it. Absolutely. Now my theory on this, if we're going to do it, I think I do feel there should be less bunkers. For example, I think no snake beams.
Yeah,
Right.
you probably don't need a
Everybody
snake,
up.
right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Take the snake beams
Yeah.
out, make it a stand-up fight, make people move. Right.
Take the
Yeah,
bricks
that's a
out.
great idea.
Yeah. So
Make it like the Hormesis field.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All
That
Doritos
would
and
be
Mayas.
like
Yeah.
3
I
times
think
the
that's a
Hormesis
great
field would be
idea.
amazing.
Perhaps
see
a
some
smaller field
dynamic
instead of 120 by 150, maybe a 100 by 120, but not much smaller.
Yeah.
Definitely get rid of the snake beams and make it a straight up gunfight. Give the people what they want. So that's just was my thought on it. But my one takeaway was I thought it was really great. I thought it was fun. Would I've liked to have spent a little extra time with my team, practicing or training? Sure. Luckily my guys went deep, so 6 of them got to see the field a lot. But I wish it kind of hadn't gone all day. Maybe the first one we do an exhibition.
Yeah, it's a big ass the day before an event.
Yeah. So that's just kind of where I was at with it.
As a fan, it was fun to watch. As a coach, I would have definitely questioned whether or not it's something we wanted to be involved with.
Right.
Because we're not there to win a practice on Thursday, right? We're there to win a tournament on Sunday. And that it just doesn't give us, if we're doing it with 5, like some kind of weird format with 5 guys with no pods or whatever. Yeah, it's the same. We can just practice our breakouts. Yeah. But if it's a 3-man all day, it takes us away from our goal.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a question there by Andrew. Again, I'll bring Andrew up again. And he says, did you notice if your players were visibly more exhausted come Sunday? But I won't say that my players were. I will say that I do know that X Factor won the event and then had, I think, the 8 a.m. game on Friday morning. So I don't know if that maybe affected their Friday morning performance, but could have. Who knows? But those boys are used to it being hot in Texas. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't think it did. Yeah. I don't think
they're
so.
Professional athletes, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
right.
I think they were probably fine. I mean, again, like we didn't play any of the long tooths. We sat. Meter says the layout wasn't demanding enough to be tired. I agree,
on.
Right?
Spot on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Meter.
Yeah.
100%.
So
if you can't sit,
we didn't play
5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes.
Well, Meter, he's on X Factor. He just answered my inquiry.
And like we didn't play Malloy, Karslev, Kirill, or Justin Rabakov. Like we just played all the
as soon as
young
I saw
guys.
that, I immediately had the inner conversations that we all have. I was like, all right, well, that's interesting. And I was like, would I do that? Would I not do that? I was like, based on past performances, Red Legion doing really, really well up to a certain point, those 3 guys getting gassed out and all of a sudden not winning the tournament, I was like, 100% I wouldn't be playing those guys.
Well,
I'd either not be doing it at all. What?
It was fear of injury.
Just fear of injury, but also just those guys gas out, right? If you play them too many points, we've seen them gas out.
Yeah. It was hot
last year. Yeah.
It was hot.
It was hot.
Yeah,
So.
and that's guys ask me a lot of times, like, hey, what can I do to get ready for this or that? What can give me an advantage? Be in better shape than the other guys, right?
Yeah.
Like paintball is super, super hard. There's a ton of stuff that we can't control. We were talking about Avery earlier, one of the guys that Mike, Bianca, and I have been talking to. And he's like, what can I do? I was like, just always be in better shape than everybody else on the other team. I was like, because everything else is super hard. You can't control everything else. So be in better shape. Then when it's hot, it's better for you and worse for them.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a reason why most paintball coaches will say, give me that athlete, give me that track run, that soccer player, the guy that's used to running for an hour and a half nonstop, and I'll turn him into a paintball player, because we want that guy who can go deep and can run rep after rep after rep and not even get gassed.
And is mentally tough enough to do that, right? You have to be really mentally tough to do that. It's not just that they're psychos. It's that when their body and their mind and everything is telling them to quit, their will doesn't let them do that, and they keep pushing through it.
That's right.
That's what winners do.
Yeah.
And, and that's something else that we emphasize a lot on the coaches show is like, when we get to practice, I shouldn't have to be doing your workout. You should be working out on your own before you get to practice, because we work the brain when we get to practice.
100%.
Body
if I start working with a new team and within the first few weeks, we're doing a workout, that means you guys haven't been doing your jobs.
Right. That's right.
Like the last thing I want to do is spend my time watching you do burpees, bro.
That's right.
This is like remedial math, and I'm not very bright enough for remedial math.
Yeah.
How many of them do you really think are doing burpees at home?
Not
That's
enough.
a great question.
Not
That's
enough.
right. No,
Avery is.
Let's talk about the layout.
Yeah,
Transition
let's talk
a little
about
bit
it.
here. And before we kind of move on, congratulations, Meter and X Factor,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
for winning the 3-man. I mean,
And they played really good in the 5-man too. I mean, they
totally.
looked really, really good. And Meter played amazing all weekend long.
He's had a great 2 years.
Yeah,
Dude's just
he's
been
had
on
a
fire.
great 10 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the last 2, I feel like he's just played at a different.
He's come into his own. He's definitely a
Yeah.
big leader on that team.
And he's one of those guys that you kind of look at now and you're like, yep, he's in the top 20 now. He's one of the guys.
And he's even like top 10 or 5 for me because he's such a good guy, right? Like there's a lot of my friends and a lot of people I know are the best paintball players in the world. Half of those guys are douchebags, right? And I still love them to death, right? But they're douchebags. Half of them are super nice guys like Meter, and that's so for me. It's even more special that he's as good and so nice.
It's like the pretty hot girl that's super
100%.
awesome, and you're like, she's a smoke show.
Yeah, and she's smart too.
You're right. That's right. All right, well, let's talk about the layout.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So, Rich, from your perspective, who played the layout correctly?
Well, obviously the Red Legion did.
Okay, but before I ask this question, I do want to say there was an average of 4.8 points per match, which is 2.9 points per match less than the average at most events.
It was super boring. You're right. I was talking to our mutual friend Oliver Lang about it and about players then and players now. And I feel like the old generation of players, we kind of played to be heroes. Like we were trying to make big heroic moves to kind of impress our friends. Like we wanted to win the tournament, right? But we didn't really want to win by sitting back and hiding. We wanted to go out there and do really cool things and be a hero. And it's different now. Guys go out there and cross it up and play these long, slow games. And I love the fact that some teams are going out there and playing aggressive, going up the middle. It's huge.
Yeah, I think there were some people who thought this field would play faster than it did. There were some who obviously recognized that it would slow down significantly. And some used that to their advantage, right? Or the analogy I used on this field was like, basically it's a clock, right? It's a rotation. Both teams are trying to turn the field.
Yeah, right hand, right?
That's right. So you want to rotate successfully, snake way. And if you could stall your opponent's rotation, that was a plus, as long as you kept rotating. If your Dorito side could stay alive or sneak into that D side undetected, right?
So you're both trying to beat each other with the same game plan.
Right.
Or you can go right up the middle of the field and smash them out and take that control.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that's,
to me, that was, as soon as I started, it was so frustrating on Friday and half of Saturday watching teams go up the middle, be successful for 2 or 3 points, and then go right back to pocket and try to get down the tape. So I'm like, what are you doing? You just won 2 or 3 points going up the middle, in whatever combination. Now you've tried to go outside 2 or 3 points and you lost every one of those points. Like, what are you not learning from this, right?
Yeah. And that's one of the best ways to stall the rotation was the center.
Take it away, right?
Take it away.
Yeah.
So, but if you kept pressing the action, and then I really felt that was the key to the field and Ryan, I think feels similar because I watched him use game plans that were quite, dynamic as well. So,
Kirill played great up the middle.
Kirill was great up there. I felt Yosh was a monster.
Yosh played great. Blake played great.
It's everybody. There were certainly standout players at this field because this field, I feel, exposed a lot of people.
Well, and the key thing that guys like Kirill and Blake and Yosh did when they went up the middle is they were proactive, right? They didn't just go up there and sit to lock down a lane on one side or the other. Mm-hmm. They went up there, sat there for a second, figured out what was going on, find someone to kill, win the point or walk off, not just sitting there waiting to react to what the other team did. Those guys who went up there and were proactive were 100% more successful. And that's what you want to see, right? Those guys going up there and winning the game, not just sitting there. If the other guy goes through my lane, I'm going to shoot him. But if he doesn't do that, then the game's basically over. It's a stalemate.
Well, you could certainly set traps up there if you were undetected, and so I can understand using that guy in that perspective, especially from a game planning perspective. If you had a goal to, hey, let's set this bait, let's set this trap. There's lots of different ways you can use them, but I do agree that the proactive player up there was, certainly a little bit more successful because ultimately a good team's going to recognize I got 4 bodies. Where's the 5th? Well, duh.
Well,
right?
And
So
when a guy goes up there and he's proactive, right, and he's successful, it really draws a lot of pressure, right?
of course it's going to draw
Now
the guns.
pressure is off.
It's going to draw the
tapes,
guns.
right? The pressure's off the tapes, and now all of a sudden that guy goes up there, he plays a smart point, doesn't get shot. All of a sudden we have success on the tapes. Oh shit! Now these guys are getting outside on us. Now they've got the attack in the middle, they got the attack on the tapes, and they just work hand in hand together. And and what the coach's job is just kind of feather that back and forth, right?
And I think that's why you saw some teams playing it the way it was, because you could get stung from anywhere. You could get stung.
We saw that. Sorry.
No, go ahead,
Mike.
No,
We saw the tempo being middle first,
mm-hmm.
the snake Dorito second, and then you could release the Dorito guy.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like
controlling the center of the field won the point.
Yeah. And we wanted whoever it was, Kirill, Leo, whatever, don't go up and sit on something. Go up, show everybody that you're there.
100%. I
so
agree
that
with that.
now you have at least two guys who have to be concerned with you all the time.
Yep.
Yes.
All the time. Somebody's got to make sure you can't come on either side. Right.
And you can show that he's running up the middle, right? The coach calls the audible and he doesn't go up the middle. Two guns are up the gut. Now we run down the tapes.
Yeah. So we just felt like the flow and tempo was middle, snake, Dorito, and again, just be relentless while you're up there. Be as pesty as you can be the whole time.
The
don't
fact that you could get into their side of the field through the center of the field
Yep.
without anybody really knowing, as long as there's one guy who's put it on that little temple. Like I was like, how are we not there every freaking game? And then one guy
you can dive right under it.
Goes. Yeah, it's just
you could dive right under his lane.
To not go up there, it kind of sets a statement for your team and your style of play, right? If you don't have that in one every 4 plays, that you're going to go into their side with one guy, if he gets there live, he's going to crawl out, the second guy's going to come in there, then your play style is probably not aggressive enough.
Yeah, we had an interesting theory. Our theory stand was like, once you had that, what we'd call snake 3, right? Whether you're using the center or not, doesn't matter. But once you had that snake 3, that Aztec player could play paintball. He didn't have to, do. So once we had that positioning, right, he was look for opportunities. So I love how you stack that though, Ryan. We looked at it from boom, boom, boom. That was smart. We looked at it a little bit more holistically, but that's smart.
These guys keep it simple.
100%.
Yes, that. Yes, that.
And they force you to beat them at their game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's good stuff.
And that also allowed us a lot of times to be able to dictate the tempo of the match.
Right.
We didn't want to get drugged into long, silly points that were going to eat up a bunch of time. We wanted to have as many opportunities to break out as we could. And we knew it was going to be really hard to shoot guys off the break.
Yep.
And so we felt like the more opportunities we have, one, to test whether or not you're as fit as we are. These guys work really hard.
Yep.
We want to drag you into the deep water with we want to drag you into the deep water with fitness. And a lot of the teams we played, they have 9 guys, 10 guys.
Yeah.
Impact's playing 2 lines.
Yep.
Right. They're playing 2 lines. So I will say one other thing. I felt like the way that some Impact being one of them, when you come out of the preliminary rounds, so they played 7, 11, they played 12 points in the preliminary rounds. We played twice as many.
Yeah. As a coach, you're looking for data, right? You're looking for as much data as you can, good or bad, right? Like, hey, we know for sure this doesn't work, guys. You don't even worry about this. Like, we know for sure that doesn't work. We know for sure this works a little bit of the time. We know this works sometimes. At least we have that data. If you're only playing 12 points, right? Like, and you're winning those points, those matches by 1 or 2 points, like you're not learning much.
Yeah.
And they were the anomaly of the teams that won their pools. All the other teams that won their pools played a lot of points.
Yep.
The rest of the except Impact, and their whole pool was really slow.
Yeah.
Impact, X Factor, Ironman, Hurricanes, and Elite, all of those teams play traditionally very slow.
I was messaging Paxton like, hey man, you're not going to beat Impact playing them a slow, methodical game. You need to start going right at those dudes.
Yeah, they lost 0-1.
I know. Dude, I was watching the game and I'm just going like, what the F is going on? Just from like old school, Ironman style paintball, trying to be the most aggressive team out there, whether you win or lose. Like watching those guys zone up in those situations, you're just like, huh, interesting.
Yeah.
I will tell you something though that I told a couple of the Ironmen and
don't hold back.
Shaner. I literally, it's a compliment. I said, this is the most disciplined Ironman team I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
you guys don't
Mature.
look like the
They're
Ironmen.
mature,
Like you,
right? Yeah.
yeah, you guys look incredibly disciplined. I mean,
Yeah.
They
They got a good group
ground
of
out-
guys right now. They got a really good group of
Yeah.
guys right now.
and I think the Jerry thing, I think they really wrapped their arms around that. And that really kind of carried some of that momentum and grit. They really wanted to play well for Jerry. And, you know, they had a really kick-ass moment. I believe it was Saturday afternoon or Sunday, where they all went out onto the middle of the field, people who knew Jerry, and got together and told stories, you know, were passing
Saturday
drinks around.
I was out there with them. So.
Yeah.
What a
cool.
cool moment, right?
Very
Like,
cool. Yeah.
what a neat
Such a good
moment. Just
guy.
men supporting men, right?
Yep.
You know, talking
Very
about their
cool.
fallen friend. I thought it was really special, very classy moment.
Very cool.
So
I agree.
kudos to whoever set that up. Really cool.
Yeah.
All right, back to the paintball stuff.
Right. Paintball stuff.
Back to the paintball stuff. All right. So really quick, let's talk about semi-pro, right?
Let's
Rich,
do it.
I don't know how much you keep up with semi-pro.
I keep up with VR because of Mikey.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, which obviously we're going to talk a lot about. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty good at paintball, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lose one match by 1 point, their first one, kind of
The very
figuring
first.
it out.
Mhm.
And then they win 5-1, 4-3, 5-0,
6-1.
6-1,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
4-3, then
Yeah,
6-1.
Then 6-1. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 4-3, then 6-1. And I know the score is 5-3 with them and the Jesters. I watched the match. The score didn't tell the story.
Right.
No, it didn't.
BR was in control the
Whole time.
entire time.
They were.
The
They
whole
dropped
time.
it.
Hey, those
Yeah.
guys have been working really, really hard, and they're kind of the team to beat right now, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got
think-
onto them
are
after
they
that.
second right now?
Yeah. No, they're
they're first.
Oh,
first
they're
By a
first,
lot.
yeah.
by a
Okay.
lot.
Okay.
By a
Yeah.
lot.
By
By
a
at
lot.
least
They're
35 points or
They're
so.
going to be the next team to move up, I bet.
Yeah.
Good
But
job, Mikey.
I think
their
and the
problem was
exciting
the
thing about that.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say the problem was in that match with Jesters, they over gunfought. They were in control the whole time, and they over gunfight when they didn't need to do it.
When they're up
and
on
that's
points.
That's what gave them up some points, and I got a little upset with them. After, well, at least I said that to their coaches, but
A little
Chew that
ego.
ass. Chew that ass, Mike.
yeah,
That's
There's
what
a
we're
little
here to
ego
do.
involved.
We're here to
in
help
some of
each
the
other out.
gunfighting.
there
Yeah.
were definitely egos. It's always ego involved in those gunfights, especially. I
always,
know
yeah.
these guys very well, and if you don't mind, I would like to kind of congratulations to Bear Ridge Factory.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
good job, guys.
What we're doing right
100%.
now.
Bear Ridge Paintball in
Giving them their
Georgia.
flowers.
As well as Prime Paintball out of Alabama. They took second at the first two events. They played outstanding paintball this past weekend. I got to send a shout out to my boy, Joey DiPolito. He's worked hard to bring this team together, him and Josh Stanley of Bear Ridge. He's reassembled some of the best players in Georgia and a couple of Alabama players sprinkled in there for good measure. So, obviously I got to send a shout out to former Hurricane and good friend, Justin Bailey, who plays on that team. My former teammate and former Ironman. We just talked about him, Rich and and Ryan, Mike McGowan, Ronnie Tyner, the best blind player in the league. Ask him about it. Wes Ward, whom many of you might remember from season 2 of X Factor's The Roster. Pedro Hull, he's an up and coming Georgia player, very fast, very dynamic. Aaron Rios, he's a 10-man player extraordinaire. Dave Stevens, young fast phenom out of Georgia, and of course, Alex Pavlidis, who has lost too much weight, but owes me for that motivation. They really do have a considerable talent on that team. And those guys are working very hard to be and maintain their competitiveness. I always told them, if you're going to be a professional team, you better start acting like one now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they took that seriously, and they really have been. So good for them.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was glad to see him get one.
Yeah.
They've
For
been,
sure. Yeah, after the second for the first two events.
Yeah. I was happy to see him get one.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be the last one.
I don't either.
No,
they're the most
if
consistent.
they keep playing the way they are, they're going to be hard to beat. They play a really smart, slow, methodical game, right? They don't make a lot of mistakes, other than obviously when they're up on points in the finals.
Right.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly. I was going to say
Bianca's going to nip that in the bud.
until I think they get comfortable, and then they get a little bit
Cha, 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 cha,
Yeah,
cha.
but you don't want to overcorrect though, right, Rich? Sometimes when you really get in there and
yeah,
overcorrect, and now
100%.
they're not picking gunfights at all. And you're
I
like,
was
wait,
just
no, I didn't
watching-
say that.
I
So,
was just watching the Tough, the Ultimate Fighter show, and Chael Sonnen, his coach. One of the things he said is like, "Hey, you can coach too much, right? Like you can get in there and give too much information and take too much control, and that's not our job. Our job is to go in there and support those guys and give them what they need, but not be overbearing and not make it about us."
right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was really good.
And a lot of other interesting thing happened in the semi-pro division. This event, like Preferred Mob, winner of the last event, takes 10th.
Yeah,
TPP Crew, who won the first event, then had a horrible second event, makes it to Sunday and gets 6th. Wrecking Crew has their best finish this season, taking 3rd. They're moving in the right direction, though. Distortions basically stayed consistent with their 2nd, 5th place in a row. The Jesters are heading in the right direction with a 2nd place finish. They've been improved each event. So a lot of shakeup here in the semi-pro division.
yeah. And there's a ton of teams in semi-pro now, right? There's like 26 teams or 30 teams. Like that's a lot of programs.
Yeah.
So if you can get to the top of that of 30 teams or whatever it is, like that's impressive.
Yeah, there were 23 at this event.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some really good too. LA Collision looked really good.
Yep.
I got to watch a few matches over there. Shock looked great. They
I
looked
heard that
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Shock. I thought Shock had an opportunity to potentially go a little deeper. They finished 4th, which is great. But I thought they might go a little bit deeper. Get into that finals match.
Yeah.
I gotta say this. Jesters have been a semi-professional team for like 20 years.
Minimum.
And
Minimum.
I would have never bet that they would be in a finals, but I'm here for it. I'm happy to see it.
Great
right?
group of people, right? Over 20 years,
Yes.
the faces have changed, but they've all been cool.
Yes. They're a good group, right? They're always like, it's always
that's
a
one of
fun
the things I
match.
love about paintball, man, is like there's these groups of guys that are just, they're not super competitive. Not to say they're not out there trying to win every event, but they're not going to let winning the event stop them from having a good time, right? Like
Totally.
first and foremost, they're going to enjoy themselves. They're going to go out and shoot some people. They're going to go out there and talk some shit. But sometimes winning gets in the way.
Yeah. Sound.
And that's why you're here, friend.
Absolutely 100%.
That is why you're here.
That's right. All right.
Very good.
Yeah, but again, huge shout out to Bear Ridge. Hey, Josh, if you're not paying those boys, get ready to start paying them.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
Yeah, congratulations to Bear Ridge. So happy to see that.
Watch him get big heads now. Watch next time you see Mikey, his head's gonna be this big. You can't get on the field at Prime anymore. It's too popular. I've seen it happen before, guys. I've seen it happen before.
I don't see that happening.
They are 27 points in first place.
Oof.
That's
Oofa.
significant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oofa.
Especially considering
Well,
going into
that's
the
cool,
World
man.
Cup, 8 teams, so 8 semi-pro teams get moved right off, right?
So-
and go play their own tournament and then go into the final rounds.
We all like
They
Mikey,
stay
right?
in the top 4 at this next event. It's over.
We all
Yeah.
like Mikey, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're going to be let's assume they do well the next 2 events. They become a pro team next season. What do they need to start securing now for next season?
Well, that'll be Mikey's 7th pro team, I believe.
Yeah, but what do they need
A
to start
coach.
getting together? A
coach.
coach
They
and
need
what
a
else?
coach.
2 C's. 2 C's.
They need a
Coach and cash.
Crew.
Coach
Well,
and
cash.
Cash. I was
Right?
gonna say funding. I was like,
for
well, I got
whatever
CNL,
reason,
not
for whatever
CNCs.
reason, like the expenses go up between semi-pro and pro, right? It shouldn't.
For
but
whatever reason.
it does.
Yeah, sometimes winning gets in the way too.
Yeah. So start planning on getting some cash together.
Yeah,
and
you
get in touch.
need to have that squared away.
Yeah,
You need to really
100%.
be
It's-
thinking about that.
I was talking to
Or
another
you sell
coach-
the spot and
Yeah.
spend another year in semi-pro.
I was talking to a friend / coach / owner, and he was saying, I'm getting tired of spending $300,000 to be a middle of the pack team. And I was like, no, that's about right. Yeah, I think you're spending about the right to be in the middle of the pack team, right? It's expensive out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that guy's pretty upset.
Yeah.
I'm sure that guy's pretty upset.
I would not doubt that. But yeah, that's another option though. And I kind of threw that and I kind of glossed over it, but
Just my experience with Austin Notorious, I can tell you I support your
Yeah.
suggestion, and I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
because a team that's not ready to be in the pro division shouldn't be in the pro division, and it will destroy you.
It can, right? I think
It will destroy you.
It'll tear the team apart.
Paintball Fit gets a lot of credit for a lot of things, but they don't get enough credit for going up to pro, going back down, and then fighting their way back up, because that, like you said, should have torn them apart, right? Most teams, that happens, the ego immediately strikes, and you lose 2 or 3 of your guys. You go out and struggle for the rest of that season, and that team's just never the same. The fact that they stayed together, went back down, battled back up is very, very impressive.
Absolutely. It's such a great story, but they're an anomaly. Right,
100%.
I just don't see other teams
getting
knocked out and staying together and coming back and being even better. I think first of all,
the water down there.
True, but I do think that roster could beat some pro teams today. I do. If they add 1 or 2 more elements, I think they're very competitive. However, if you don't have the cash, maybe we talk about that.
Yeah, because things like crews, right? Like having a good pit crew, right? With maybe an AC, right? Maybe this, maybe that, whatever you need in the pit to be competitive with the middle of the pack or the top of the pack teams, that costs money. And having people there that make sure you get the exact paint that you need to win, that costs money. And having, this, that, or the other thing, it costs money. And it all adds up.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
very expensive. Well, so real quick, Bear Ridge Factory's in first, Distortion second, New York Wrecking Crew is now in third, and LA Collision has taken over the 4th place spot.
Yeah, Collision's looking good.
Yeah. I watched their practice videos down in Chino, California, Sea Village.
Yeah.
WNXL.
Yeah.
Heroines, right?
Heroines, man.
Heroines.
They were playing with a chip on their shoulder, I think, after that 3rd place finish at the first event. By the way, if I remember correctly, they were the only undefeated team out of all prelims, right? All 10 teams in the prelims.
Mm-hmm.
They had 2 mercy rule wins in the prelims, I might add. And one of which was against Dallas Vibe, who's a powerhouse in the WNXL. They did that in the semis.
The heat didn't seem to bother them any.
No, it did not.
No.
Did not.
No.
They appeared well in control.
Fresh.
During finals against the Femmes. By the way, I thought Jen Folk retired.
Again?
That's what I thought.
How many times can you retire?
I don't know. Well, she only retired once, that I understood. And she was going to focus on her D2 team. But just the same.
I have no idea.
That being said, this team was built to win. Lori and Anthony aren't playing around. I think they have some of the best talent in the women's division on that one team, on that one roster. With this win, it puts them within 3 points of the Femmes for the series title. Yeah. So Cup will be the decider.
Pretty close, right? I mean, there's not a big difference in the scores.
No,
it's all there.
Yeah. With them only getting 3 events a year, it stays tight.
It does.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It stays really tight at the top.
Yeah, Cup's going to be fire.
A bloodbath.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny. Andrew says the heroines were working out in the blazing heat right next to us in the Jeep. Mad respect for sure.
Good job, guys. Keep up the good work.
They're athletes.
They are.
They don't mess around.
They are.
Yeah, I thought the WNXL was cool. I got to go over there and watch a few games too, since I didn't have to scout, the 3 points that teams were going to play. I just walked over and watched WNXL and semi-pro. It was great.
I think it's amazing that we have women's paintball now. Very, very cool.
I do too.
Yeah.
And the youth.
I'm shocked.
I'm
kind of shocked that it took so long to kind of get going and to have some backing or whatever. But I'm really glad to have them there.
Yeah, thank you to Lori and Anthony, right, for
sure.
developing it, putting it together. And,
you think the league would have taken the time and the energy to do it, but I guess they're busy doing other things.
Coming up with the funding. So, pretty awesome. Again, I was going to mention, I went over and watched D4, so Kirill got me. He got me good. He asked me, hey, can you stick around Saturday afternoon and help the D4 guys? And I was like, yeah, 2 matches, no problem. This is in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, yeah, I can help them. In my head, it's 2 matches. One of the kids walks over and he's like, hey, man, we play from 2 to 6.
Yeah, here's our schedule. We're on every 45 minutes for the next 10 hours.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Second coach.
I was like, you got me.
Krill's got me plenty of times. He's way cleverer than he looks, for sure.
Yeah, he got me good. So while I was over there during the D4, they were also playing the youth division, right? So I got to
yeah.
watch all the kids play, which ended up being awesome, right? Like watching the kids do their thing. Some of them, by the way, are amazing.
Yeah.
They're going to be so good. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I watched this.
I've been waiting
AG
for the next
team,
generation of paintball players to come up for a long, long time.
and these kids are
I
like
can't wait.
12,
Yeah.
13.
That's what I
They're
like to
so
hear.
young.
Yeah.
I watched this AG team and Hydra kids, which are the Texas guys from Paintball Fit.
Right.
Oh, and with a girl, right? Hadley plays with them.
That's right.
So good, right? Watching that. So like AG beat them. And then later the Hydra kids came back and beat AG. Like they're starting to have a legit rivalry,
That's
right?
cool.
Like there was a little bit of shit talk. I was like, all right, this is for real. This is good. Anyway, just want to throw that out there. The youth paintball was so fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's
So exciting.
The more time and energy we invest in that, the faster and bigger our sport will grow.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, let's get into
But who
that.
wants that?
Yeah, but don't let winning get in the way.
Yeah, obviously.
guys
don't
wanna
let me
talk-
get in the way.
You guys want to talk about the pro division?
Let's do that.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the pro
let's
division.
get into it.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with the bad or badish.
Ooh.
We'll start with
yeah.
the bad.
I love how you're doing that.
Oof. Oofa.
Yeah, so we'll say badish first, right? So Paintball Fit falls to X Factor, doesn't win the tournament. That's badish, not bad. Like they're fifth,
Yeah.
right?
I thought they did pretty well. I thought
I did too.
I felt
they
this
played great.
field did not kind of work to their advantages in some sense. So like the fact that they got fifth, they haven't, they're missing obviously one of their key guys. And as we all know, it's super hard to win one tournament. It's super hard to win two tournaments. It's super hard to win three tournaments. To win four tournaments, it's almost like, everything in the world is stacked up against you, right? It doesn't happen that often. So I think they did amazing just to get fifth and to, like everything they're doing, like the videos that Verbal's doing for the Paintball Fit, like afterwards are amazing. What they're doing, the program, how much they're playing paintball. Like if you're not a Paintball Fit fan out there, then you're just not a paintball fan.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought they did really well. They had good adjustments. They played before us a lot.
Yeah.
So I got to watch their adjustments, and
Yeah,
I love how they
yeah.
use their personnel.
That's fair.
They all have strengths, right? And how they leverage their personnel on it. But it's really their comms. It's their discipline and then comms that wins that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to watch.
Yeah. They're really good at shooting on the break. They're
Yep.
really, really good at gunfighting with their first exchanges. And then
Yep.
they have amazing teamwork.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot well off the break and very disciplined.
Yep.
Right. They're
Yep.
amazing. Christian Dallas Smith asks, has anyone ever done a 4-peat? Christian, the answer is no.
I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't think there has
No.
been.
Not in the X-Ball era.
Mm-mm. So, X Factor looks great. They knocked Fit out. I think they finished the event at 4th, if I recall. But
They look really, really good to me.
yeah, but they've improved every event.
I think Archie coming back is really helping those guys out.
Yeah.
A little bit more
Well,
maturity, a little bit more confidence on the team.
Well, they've got the momentum they need heading into their home state event, right? So they're moving the needle in the right direction. So X Factor is definitely going to be one to watch at this next event. Let's see. You talking about the badish?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say X Factor was great. I don't know why
Yeah.
you brought them up in the badish
yeah.
category. They were
Yeah,
great.
I
Try
didn't.
to stay focused.
I'm
I'm the
trying
guy that
to.
loses.
I'm trying to understand the term badish.
All right. So
'Cause
damage.
he might have said, he could have
uh,
said like badasses. Badass.
Damage doesn't make Sunday. That's
Oh,
badish. They
that
didn't do
is-
terrible. They
that is
finished in
badish.
11th place, right? That's badish. For
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Damage, I would consider that to be real bad, right?
100%,
Like a team
If
that's
you're not-
incredibly well funded,
if you're not-
amazing talent.
Yeah, if you're one of the top teams and you're not in the top 4, there's a problem, right? Something went off the rails, right? Like if you're not in the top 4 and you're one of those teams that's spending a lot of money and spending a lot of time and spending a lot of energy to be there, then something went wrong, right? And then for quite a few teams, that happened.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
Damage is an 8th right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Damage is an 8th. They finished this event. What did they? I don't know.
10 or 11.
Yeah.
11th.
They missed the cut by 1.
Yeah.
Heat and Damage, the fact that Heat and Damage are down to 7th and 8th tells you that the league has gotten a little bit harder than it used to be at there at the top, right? There's a little bit more transparency in the teams. They are significantly higher than Diesel, which is now ranked 14th after getting 20th place at the event. If we're talking about teams that didn't do badish or did do badish, they're one of those teams that did badish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you guys obviously have a lot of opinions. What's your opinion on Diesel? Because Diesel has an amazing roster. They're funded really, really well, but they continue to kind of disappoint us. And they looked better at the beginning of the season. Things were going really, really well. And then this event, I don't know what happened, but it fell apart.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming. I think Mark and Kyle,
I thought they were going the right direction.
Yeah, I think Mark and Kyle know how to play this field. They have the talent. The two teams playing for first and second came out of the bracket that Diesel was in. That loss to NYX, right, was shocking.
Well, they went 0-4, right? Didn't Diesel go 0-4?
Yeah.
This is just me talking, and obviously I get people give me a hard time because I'm a little too direct or whatever. But for a team that's that talented to go 0-4, right? Somebody on that team has to start looking at themselves and being like, hey, you know what? Maybe the problem isn't these coaches or this paint or this gun or this play. Maybe the problem is me, right? Maybe 2 or 3 of us aren't doing what we need to do to be able to just be like, because if they go out and just get 10th place, it's no big deal, right? Like if they go out and win 1 or 2 games against the soft team in their bracket that they should obviously already win, then we're not even talking about it, right? But the fact that they went out and lost to the 19th place team and 3 other teams tells you that they're playing significantly lower than they should be playing, right? And this isn't the first time. It's not the second time this happened. This is the 3rd season, right? That we've been kind of like, hey man, like let's go, guys, get your shit together, right? You have the players, you have the money. Let's have another super team, right? Because we want to see the best teams in the world out there competing against each other, right? So we all want them to do well, but they just keep going out there and failing. And I feel like at some point they've got to look at themselves. And I don't know the situation. I don't know the people, I don't know the inside situation, but there's something broken in there. And those guys have to be honest with each other and fix that broken thing, right? And then become the team that we all know that they can be. But until that happens, doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter who you pick up, you're not going to be the team that we all think you're capable of being, in my humble opinion.
Well, I know from my time there, and I've mentioned this on the show, they were there were culture problems. Right. Like
we talked about that. What's a culture problem?
Yeah. So like when the team doesn't perform well, I think they kind of they get a lot of weight put on them, about the amount of money that's being spent and that kind of thing. And then and I'll tell you, last event, their very last match in Atlantic City, they get beat 6-0 by Paintball Fit. And we were going on right after that. And I kind of looked in the pit after that loss, and on their faces and their posture, I could see the weight again, right? Yeah. I started seeing some of the things that I saw that I hadn't seen in a couple of events, right? Like, I mean, they played well at World Cup, taking 3rd place. And
that was a big turnaround for them, I thought.
For sure, right? And then they get an 8th place and a 9th place, still playing well, right?
Again, no one's talking about it. Yep.
Yeah, they bump up against a super hot Paintball Fit team who literally also mercy ruled X Factor, right? Like, a fire hot team
for sure,
who's playing really well. It's not that sometimes you have to understand you got beat. Like you can do 100%. Everything right and you still might get beat. Everyone is really, 100%. Really good in this division. Right.
That's all you can ask for in a loss is like, hey, they beat us, but we did everything we could, right? That's the best thing you can ask for in a loss.
Yeah, there's not always like a you did this and you did this and you did this.
Sometimes they're better than you.
Sometimes you get beat, right? On that day, they're better than you.
Sometimes they're better than you. They were in better shape. Their paint was better, whatever it is, man.
And then I think that NYX loss tipped
like a slap in the face.
You kind of like just added that, the weight that maybe they got rid of through, between Atlantic City and now. And then that added it right back on, right? Like, oh my God, we just lost to the 19th place team. We should have won that match. We should have won that match. And then it just kind of continued to sort of, go in the wrong direction. They bump up against us and things didn't go well. We beat them 6-1, and then they bump up against the Tauntauns, who beat them 5-1. And then they have a really spicy match with Aftershock, where they lose 2-5, right? And so I think the weight just continued to get heavier and heavier and heavier as the tournament went on, and hopefully, because I do genuinely, I love the majority of those guys, and I want to see them do really
good
well.
guys in the roster. Really good guys in the roster, for sure.
I want to see them do well, right?
We all want to see them do well, right? Like we want to see that you get a good group of players together, that are a good group of guys. You pay them well, you take good care of them, and they're successful, right? That's what we want. And because the more good teams we have, the more good paintball we get to watch.
Yeah. And they just, when they fall apart, they fall apart completely.
Some teams are emotional teams, right? And when the emotions are working, are going in your direction, like, the flow is good, everything's up, everything's good, right? It seems to me that Diesel's a very emotional team. I remember Clint Johnson pushing the referee like a couple events ago. Like, you just see kind of emotional outbursts for them, right?
Slapped his hand away.
Yeah.
He didn't push him. He slapped his hand away.
He slapped his hand. It seemed like an emotional outburst. Like, it seems like they're an emotional team.
Well, no, it was emotional, for sure.
So it seems like they're an emotional team to me. And when that's going good, it's going good. But it seems like it's going bad there, where they're on the bad side of the emotion. They're kind of, not figuring it out.
That's kind of that's the weight I'm talking about, Rich. Yeah. It's emotional weight.
Yeah.
Right. It's not
irresponsible.
And then it gets
letting
to
everybody
a point,
down. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, the bag with water.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think we've all talked to those guys, right? We've all pulled them aside and said, hey, listen, man, we all know you're great players, right? Stop putting all this pressure on you and just go play paintball, right? After one event, I was talking to Mouse and a couple of other guys. It's like, you 5 guys with no coach should easily be able to go out there and get 10th place, right? Just playing street ball. Don't even put a game plan together. That's how much confidence I have on you. You put Spica, a couple of you guys in there, you can go out and beat most teams just by playing street ball. So don't come telling me that, you need coaches, all the things. Like, you guys can do it. You can. Just have to take the pressure off yourselves.
Yeah, but let's get back to that culture question, though. What if they're not allowed to take the pressure off themselves? Is that the problem? Is it being hung over them? Is there a fear that's being?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's fear.
I think it's fear. I don't think it's emotional response. I think it's fear that we're in trouble. Right?
Well, that's too bad, because you're probably never going to be successful in that.
You can't be. You can't be.
I
don't know, like the two of you. I don't know. I know some of those individual players. I don't know the whole crew that well. It's been a conundrum for me, and trying to figure out what is it? What is the thing?
We all do the same thing, right? We look at these teams like Damage and like Diesel with all these players that we respect and these coaches that we respect, and you're like, wow, it's so, like, we know there's something wrong, but from the outside we can't see what's wrong. And apparently when you're inside, you're so close to it that you can't see what's wrong. And it's like, so it's really weird trying to figure out these problems, because, when you have a team that has a lot of money, a lot of good players, and a couple of good coaches, you expect them to be successful, right? I mean, those are 3 of the biggest things that you could ask for. And if you have good players, good coaches, and all the money, and you're not successful, there's a big problem on your team, because most of the teams in the bracket would love to have those 3 options.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to say something really quick to people in the chat. Like, if you continue, like, if someone continues to say the same stupid thing over and over and over again, I'm going to remove you. Just FYI. So I've already done that to the person who we don't do that on this show. Right. You want to do that, go somewhere else. That's not who we are here. So this is a professional show.
Are they giving me a hard time? Tell them they can.
No, they just keep talking about something that we're certainly not going to talk about on this show, because we want to highlight professionalism and positive and things that are real. Whatever happened, and it's none of my business, nor do I want to talk about it.
They'll handle it outside the net. So
that's right. So I just want to make sure, if you're in our chat, like, we appreciate you being here, but if it gets stupid and unprofessional, we're just going to throw you out. So
So sticking with the badish, Heat knocks out Dynasty. That was bad.
Yeah. I thought Heat looked pretty good.
Now
I thought they looked great.
I thought Heat looked great. What are you talking about? They showed a level of discipline that I thought was outstanding.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But
So it's something we haven't seen.
To be honest, it's a tough field to be down a few points on, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a tough if they can make you play a slow match and you're already down 2 points, right? Then you're screwed because then they're gonna have to try to force 2 points in 40, a minute and a half or 45 seconds, and just not the field to do it on, man.
I mean, nobody can come back from an 0-3.
Oh, stop it.
Nobody from the United States can.
No.
How amazing is it that there's 2 European teams in the top 5?
Yeah.
How crazy is that? If you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd have been like, no. I've been like, yeah, Red Legion for sure, but no one else will ever get up there. So good job on the Tauntauns.
No, congratulations again to Heat finishing third, a vast improvement over their last 13th place. Dynasty finishes 6th, drops from 2nd in the series to 3rd in the series.
What place is Infamous in? Is it 8th place or 9th place?
I don't think Infamous, they're not in the top.
Is it 10th
Infamous
place?
is in 16th place.
They're not in the top 10.
Is it 16th?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And so
yeah, you're right. I do see it 16th here. Yeah, that's a significant drop from the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on with that program? You guys are more tuned in than I am. What's going on?
Hang on real quick. Steve, it wasn't you I was referring to. It's the person I've already removed.
It was
You're
you,
good.
Steve, and you know what you did.
You're good,
stop
buddy.
it. There you
Steve
go.
wanted to know,
Rich.
he didn't mean to insult anyone. You didn't. And by
You
the way,
didn't.
if you can insult any of the three of
Insult
us
away.
and you
Please
get to
insult me.
stay, because
Yeah.
we're really thick-skinned, it's when you get disruptive. That's when we're going to throw you. So thank you.
Yeah.
But you're good. Yeah, so I talked to a couple of the Infamous guys, and I'm like, okay.
Again,
what's
another
happening?
roster where you love all the guys on the team, right?
Yes.
And they're all really good.
Yeah, they're all really good.
They're all
paintball
really
players.
good.
And they're not
right?
like
so
they're not inconsistent guys, right? They're all good all the time. They're not just like, oh, he's good some events, bad some events. He's okay if it's a fast field. He's okay if it's a slow field. They're all good all around players.
But see, what you're describing there is great individual talent. What I haven't seen is any type of team play.
Okay.
yeah, they lost a 5-on-2. They lost
They
a
did
5-on-2.
not. You're just making that up. You're being
And
mean at
no,
this point.
no,
You're being mean
and
at
I
this
don't
point.
want to say that because I really do like Infamous.
No. We're telling the story as it's written. I didn't make it up.
Yeah, you're
But
a little bit of a bully.
They
but
lost a
that's fine.
5-on-2.
I'm just not seeing the team play.
It's okay with me.
Yeah, that honestly, that makes sense. I haven't been watching it close enough. When I was just writing some notes down today, just on placements, and I saw the Infamous was 16th, and I was kind of shocked because I knew that they hadn't been doing well. I would have guessed like 10th or 12th or something like that. Because 2 seasons ago they were kind of on the rebuild. They were doing good. They were kind of like, that's the next team that's going to win a tournament. And now it's a season and a half later, and they're in 16th place. So something's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leverage won a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's part of the good.
Wait, we'll get. Are we
Oh,
getting to
sorry,
the good now?
sorry.
When do we go to the good? Did we
Well,
talked
let's
about
do the good now, right?
Well, we
Shock makes Sunday.
right? I was
That's
going
good.
to
That's a big
make
improvement.
Sunday, but they had help. Okay, when
They
we
did,
knocked
but they
when
made
we
it.
knocked Damage out,
Hey, any
that
way you
put
get there.
Aftershock.
Any way
in.
you get there.
So right. So Aftershock makes Sunday
That's
to the
good.
chagrin of some.
Yeah.
But I expected Shock to be in. I mean, they're a competitive team. You've got a tremendous amount of talent there. The Todds are getting after it, and so when they were given that opportunity, now I believe they won their first match on Sunday in the Ochos, and then they got knocked out in the quarters.
They did. And who did they beat in that first match on Sunday? Come on.
Come on, you
It's a
can do
great story.
Oh, the Sea Dogs.
it.
The Sea
The Sea
Dogs
Dogs.
made it.
The Sea
I was
Dogs
literally
made it.
standing there Saturday afternoon.
like those guys.
Like,
Yeah.
me too. Like,
They're-
I
I'm
was standing
same.
there
Big
Saturday
fan.
afternoon. Like,
Big fan.
yes.
They're
Big
ranked
fan.
15th
Whoa.
now. They're ranked higher than Infamous and higher.
They
than
are
Aftershock.
ranked 15th right now.
That's
Third
awesome.
event in of now. Look, a semi-pro, the second place semi-pro team who bought their spot.
Yep.
Third event of the rookie season. They make Sunday.
Good on
And
them.
listen, I was in there. I was in the pit with them when they lost. And man, they're all really upset. They felt like, of course they're going to be upset. But I remember I was talking to them. I was like, no. This, I get
This
it.
is big, yeah.
I get it. This is
But
good.
it's a step.
This
It's a
is
big
your
step,
first
dude.
step. It's a big
Any
step.
movement forward
You
has to be
made Sunday.
celebrated.
That's
'cause
right.
It's too hard, man. It's too
Good
hard.
stuff for the Sea Dogs. Really proud. Congratulations to them. Like I told them at the event, this is progress, and they should be happy. They are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, they
100%.
finished 9th place after a 15th and 16th place finish. I
If
mean,
they can finish, if they can maybe go up 2 or 3 more places, finish out in the top like 12, man, that's a huge first season for buying your spot. right?
Huge,
That's
right?
they're like, hey, we deserve to be here. Now let's really focus on next season. Work on those
even
CNCs.
being in the 15th spot,
I-
they are out of the bottom tier.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are now a 4th-tier
They're a
team,
4th-tier team.
which is
And
huge.
being in front of Infamous and Aftermath on your first season is huge, right? Because those are both story
Absolutely.
programs that have been in a long time. You know, there's
Totally.
people that are getting paid on those rosters to play paintball. So that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to go. I
Lots
don't
of
want to go
respect.
back to the bad, but I'm so frustrated with Aftermath. Like,
Yeah.
Talk to me, Goose. What's
Again,
going on?
talk about a team that has just an immense amount of talent and opportunity, and just
Yep.
continues to piss it away and piss it away. Played the field completely incorrectly. Like, wanted to play it like Damage. You're not Damage.
No.
Stop. You're not Impact. You're young. You should be
Go
hungry.
get him. Go get him.
Go, yeah, go. Like, set up some tempo, set up some. So here's what's happened. And this is the last thing I'm going to say about the bad. NRG, New York Extreme, and Leverage have now put themselves in a 68, 67, and 62 points away from relegation, right?
Yeah.
So Leverage is 62, New York Extreme 67, and NRG Elite is 68.
Yeah.
I can see into the future. What I see in the future is NRG and NYX becoming a team next season. You heard it here first.
I want to comment on the Leverage thing. So Leverage wins the match against Uprising. By the way, I saw somebody in the chat asking why did Leverage place higher? Because they won the heads up, right? So they beat Uprising in their bracket. This was good enough to get them the one win was good enough to get them the 5th place finish. And to Ryan's point, you now have Leverage, NYX, and NRG all within 6 points of each other.
Yeah. It's dicey.
So making the relegation landscape a lot different now.
Barren.
Yeah.
Barren, for sure.
Well, no, I would say it's not barren because it's got 3 teams in there.
That's
You
a
know
good
what I'm
point.
saying? Yeah. So, because barren would be it's got 1 team there.
Yeah.
Well, which is what we had before the event.
Right. So
You know, Leverage with 2 points.
having
coming into
Caputo
the
back, I think, helps Leverage. I think they're going to be able to play well again the next couple of events. Where I think New York is kind of stuck in a holding pattern right now. So I think Leverage has a little bit of advantage there. I think out of Energy is the biggest shock, right? Like those guys have been a consistent kind of 10th place, 12th place team for the last 3 or 4 years, right? Like they've always been kind of win 2-2 or 3-1 and kind of peter out like in 9th or 10th, not quite make it to Sunday or make it to Sunday and get out in the first round, but like competitive. This season they're struggling, man.
yeah.
Agree. Yeah. So I do want to answer this question in the chat really quick. Yeah. So I don't want to jack your name up, so I'm just going to read the question. Right. You said right, but Uprising beat Infamous and had a lower margin. It doesn't matter. The head-to-head between those 2 teams is all that will matter in that mix.
Right.
Yeah. That's the first tiebreaker.
Yeah. I noticed right before the event, right after the layout practice and right before the event, NRG cuts what undoubtedly are 2 of their best players.
2 starters.
2 starters, right? Damien Vasquez and
I heard about that. I didn't get
Evan
the details,
Manners.
but I noticed.
I know no details about it. I Mr. Buffton is a good guy, a good friend, and I thought about calling him and asking him, but I didn't.
I asked him.
You did,
Alan, what's going on?
Yeah.
I asked him.
So spill the beans.
He
Well,
just
I'm
said
not
it
sure.
was personalities.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, well, if that's what it is, better get rid of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. All right.
Short-term goals, long-term goals, right?
There you go. Right. So,
Well, your short-term goal needs to be don't be
Yeah,
20th.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, man, if you're in 18th place, maybe you put up with someone's personality you don't like for a couple more events. If he's one of your better players,
yeah.
Yeah. What's the other guy they cut? Damien and
Damien Vasquez,
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Manners,
Evan Manners.
Manners. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Evan has played really well for them.
solid.
Evan's a monster
solid.
gun. He's a
Yeah,
monster
solid guy.
gun.
He's like
And
one of
up
those
the
solid
middle,
guys.
he's been
Yes.
great for them.
Yeah.
And this layout should have been fantastic for him.
For Evan, 100%. 100%. Evan's a friend. I know him. I coached him and played with him. So he's a talented guy. So anyway.
Yeah.
But
So we dropped back down and started talking about the bad again.
Man,
So
we're out of control, guys. I'm sorry. That's probably my
you
fault.
know, we're all over. the
I
place.
blame you, Rich.
Kind of left off on Houston Heat. Great turn. We sparred with them coming into the event.
Yeah.
They looked great at practice. Ryan did a really good job. They had really slow turnarounds, which is the only thing that kind of bugged us. Like, we didn't get to play as many points as we wanted to, but like, we accomplished our goals, right? So
I think that's the slowest I've ever seen Heat play paintball.
It was really slow. Them and Arsenal were our sparring partners going into the event, and they played 2 or 3 10-minute points at practice.
I don't have the attention span for those long points, man. It just bores the hell out of me.
There was a lot of them.
Yeah.
There was a lot of them.
There was a lot of them. So we're talking good now? We're talking good now?
Yeah, we talked about San Antonio X Factor, who looked great. 10th place, 6th place, now 4th place, going in the right direction. As Mike mentioned, kind of spun up, right, going into the Texas event.
Right.
Hey, did they release the brackets yet? Can we talk about that?
I don't think they've been released publicly.
Well, we won't talk about it yet.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
San Diego Dynasty. Let's talk about you guys. Like, had a great preliminary rounds. I thought you guys looked fantastic. Like, ramped up well enough that I thought for sure we were going to meet, because I thought we were playing well enough to win the tournament. But I thought we'd see you, right? I thought for sure we're going to butt up against Dynasty when we get to the last game. So
it looked really good in the prelims.
Slow, great in the prelims. So kind of what happened?
Well, I felt like we knew exactly what Heat wanted to do. We had some good box calls for them, which, by the way, were all successful. They worked 2 of the 4 points, shot the people we wanted to shoot on the break when we made the box calls. So, sometimes even the best get dinked, right? Yeah. There was one point where a ball literally came off a bunker, went up and circled down and just plopped on a hopper. And the ref even said that to him, because you might remember Ryan Greenspan's looking around like, what? Where did that come from? And the ref's like, yeah, it bounced and went up in the air and landed on your hopper. So, I mean, these things are going to happen, right? And I'm not making an excuse. Sometimes even the best, ride that edge of execution just a little too thin, just a little bit too much of that mask gets clipped, or maybe just a little bit, a bounce shot comes in a little hotter than they have been, or what have you. We did not close well. We didn't use, and I think I felt like we were in control 3 of the 4 points. Might have been a small, I need to go back and rewatch that final match, because I felt like at one point when we were down 2-1 and there was still 7:56 on the clock, it was a 5-on-5. We were in great position to close real well. And then, we didn't. So I don't want to be too harsh on my guys. I'm still doing my workup. I send a data set to all my guys every.
What were the numbers?
Well, what you want? Which numbers do you want?
How many? So you're up in that 2-1 point. That was 7 minutes. What were the body counts?
So it was 5-on-5 up until until around 2:30, when we have basically Blake makes an incredible move. Yeah. But his hopper guy
gets shot by the second. Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. He gets both of them if his only one ball came out of his gun.
Out. Yeah.
So I think
though, that was a long time to wait.
It was. And then
that being down 2 points, right?
Yeah. Now we're at and then I think once that happened, that was around the 2:36 or 2:30 point or something like that. And then Danny launches at I think 1:56 or so. But we're still in position even after we lost. We're still in good position to catch people, because Ryan made a good move based off the chaos. And anyway, it got to the point where once we got under a minute and it was a 4-on-2 at that point, I'm like, okay, I've got to make a decision here.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I had to make the decision to concede and try and score 2 points in 56 seconds, and it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
so
it was tough.
Yeah,
I just watched it again.
Yeah. Anyway, I have a lot more to say about that, but I'm gonna
preach on.
Well, what I mean is, I'd like to say it to my team first.
Oh, well, they can tune in.
Yeah,
right? We're not stopping them from watching.
Well, I believe they're doing an intel session.
Oh, for God's sake!
I'm on this show.
Way more important.
When my team is doing something, so I should know. But I'm with my friend, so doing our show. So I'm sure I'll get to watch the intel session and learn.
Tauntaun FSU.
Yeah.
Tauntaun's FSU. I was talking to Marky Franz earlier.
let me tell you.
Tauntaun FSU.
Did it look like, okay, so on Sunday, I think I saw the same 5 guys every point, every match.
Hugo's a
on Sunday.
monster.
And I think that's what ultimately got him. I just don't think they had the gas tanks for the onslaught that is the Russian Legion.
With 5 dudes, like you have to be able to rotate out a body here and there.
Yeah.
At some
They only
point,
brought 7.
Yeah. Ballsy.
I didn't see Markey out there on Sunday.
No, not until they were to the end of the match when they were basically done.
Yeah.
He played against us. And
he did the 3-man.
He actually was the player who got the major penalty at the end of the finals.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, whatever. It's cool.
he was the one who tripped and fired and shot. And that's when Malloy goes, no, does the whole Malloy. So uncharacteristic of Malloy.
Not when he wins. It's
I know.
not when he wins.
So
nah.
But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they were. I thought Tauntauns, like from the start, other than us and you guys, I thought they looked the best. I thought they were playing the field correctly.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of challenges here and there, but nothing that was like that could be the thing, right? Like I couldn't find.
There's one thing they were doing that other teams didn't have.
No. Like we found the 2 things that they were kind of doing that nobody else was really doing.
I see.
But I couldn't find. Yes, I couldn't find the thing that we could really exploit. Right. Like
they were playing good individual paintball and good team paintball, right?
Yes.
Like whenever they would need a guy to step up, a guy would step up, shoot a couple guys, save a point. Then they go back, play good traditional team paintball. Another guy would step up, win a couple points. It was good seeing Fedorov play good paintball again.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Rich. I was going to say that Fedorov was playing lights out all weekend.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't find something to exploit, I might have had a box call to kind of pick on Fetty, something along that. Let's get this guy off the field. Right. He was playing.
It seemed like it worked very well.
Yeah. Why are you making that face, Ryan?
It's Christian. He says, Ryan, I got a leak of your game plans. And
most of them just had Kirill written in big bold.
Yeah. Which is Kirill was amazing.
Yeah, Kirill played really, really well.
Amazing.
And honestly, like this is my personal opinion. I think the hardest position to play is up the center of the field.
Totally.
I've tried to develop many players to be really strong up the middle of the field players, and really always struggled to try to help somebody, kind of find that talent. So when I see a guy that can play well up the middle, Nick Laval back in the old days, Kirill now, I have a ton of respect for him because it's such a difficult, position to play. You have literally twice the amount of things to look at as the guys going up the tape.
Yeah, there's so many variables.
There's
so many variables going on.
And where the guys on the tapes get a specific pattern and timing and do the same specific pattern and timing all the time, the guys in the middle have 4 or 5 different options to get up to a different spot, and the timing and the variations are changing constantly. And for those guys to be able to stay ahead of the guys that are landing them, go up there, sometimes shoot a guy in the break, trade with a guy. To me, it's the most impressive thing you can do in paintball, and Kirill was doing a great job of it. So was Joe, Blake, quite a few other players, but Kirill was definitely steps ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, he and Leo both were amazing up there. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, Kirill for the most of the event, and then Smochoff on Sunday afternoon for sure.
Yep. Yeah, and Kirill came either right behind him or right in front of him.
Yeah.
They created an amazing 1-2 punch.
100%. And that was a great position for Smochoff. We were talking a little bit before we got on the air. Kind of a proactive cannonball up there, right? Like you don't know exactly what he's going to do. He's not going to go up there and hold down a lane. He's not going to go up there and do a job, but he's going to go up there and kill people and create havoc. And that's what you need in that position sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially when you have someone like Kirill that can come behind him and just fill in and hunt for hoppers and win the point.
Yeah. I mean, J-Rab had a great event. I mean,
J-Rab was playing. He's been playing ever since he came back to the Red Legion. He has been playing his best paintball for sure.
Absolutely, 100%.
Still a terrible human being, but really, really good at paintball.
That's why we have you on, Rich.
They all played great, right? Our bench played great.
Your bench played great. Yes,
for the first time, right? For the first time, now we see people coming off the bench, and we're not like, oh shit, Red Legion's going to lose this point. The guys are too tired. They're bringing in the second string. Now you're bringing in guys, and we're winning points. That's huge.
Yeah, but and that's something like Ryan Gray, and Ryan's helping bring that bench up. That's and I got to give credit to my man. First of all, congratulations, brother. I'm saying it publicly in front of everybody. Congratulations on the win.
I
Way
will
to
say
be.
congratulations,
And,
but I expected you to do well. So please continue.
Right. I think we all did. But what I loved was how all the way up until the quarterfinals, there was a pace, there was a tempo that certain teams were trying to play. Right.
Yeah.
Look at the semifinals and the finals. Look what happens after the quarters. It just takes off.
Yeah,
because
stop playing scared paintball.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was like, "Let's do this," and the Russians were doing it the best.
100%.
They were just doing it the best.
Yeah, so I do want to. So Austin Slater says I'm riding their coattails because they were already a winning program, and then you look in the pits, and it's only the Russian coach coaching. Austin, in a professional pit, how many coaches should be talking?
I'll answer that one for him.
So when we're on the tower, Alexi and I talk about what we need to talk about, and then I don't say a word in the pit unless it's directly to a player about something I've seen, and that's it.
Or
but I appreciate
Alexi. Great
I
call.
appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
There you go. Way to handle that with class, my friend.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
That's why I say I don't I don't ask advice from somebody I don't have their cell phone number.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, but no, congratulations to the Russians again.
Yeah, good job.
Congratulations to Tauntauns for their second appearance in the finals.
Way to turn that program around last couple seasons, man.
Yeah.
The Tauntauns, again, like coming in from a 16th place finish, right? At the first event.
Yeah.
And then coming out and literally flipping the script. And I'll tell you the difference. And you guys probably already know this. It's Fedorov.
Yeah.
Fedorov went from a program, and Mike, you and I talked about it all last year on the show, where he played completely out of position, was kind of locked into these job scenarios with Houston. Right. Yes, yeah. Now he's found now he's found a place where Fedorov can go be Fedorov.
Kill people,
right? Yeah. Like they've done a great job putting him in places that are really hard to play, but also allow him enough freedom that when it's time for him to go do Fedorov stuff, he goes and does it.
100%. That's a really good read for sure.
No, that's an excellent point. And 100 people have said this already, but I kind of need to get this in. And it's like, I even had that comment, with Ryan Greenspan, right? Ryan Greenspan, you put in that spot that he can take a role that may be like boring or non-dynamic or what have you, and he can turn it into something, right? Dynamic. Fedorov can do the same. There's a lot of players out there. I'm just really impressed with the growth of so many players that you think, okay, they've peaked, and no, they haven't. They're just getting better. And
you can't peak at paintball, man.
Rabakov, Fedorov,
Justin
Greenspan.
Rabakov is one of them, right? Like I will tell you, that man, like watching him do what he does, like you go watch, if you guys watch all the matches that Tauntauns played, and you see how many one-on-ones and guys that Axel snaps out, and then you go watch 2 times Justin and Axel go head to head, and Justin wins both of them.
Yeah.
And like in a incredibly comfortable,
just
like
standing up there,
confident. Yeah, like I'm good. He is at a level that, in my opinion, is like he is in the same category as player to me as a Ryan Greenspan.
For
like
sure.
the way he sees the field while he's playing, the feedback he brings in and gives to the coaching staff, like Justin is unbelievably talented. Yes, and it's not just like I want to say he's really talented because he is, but he works his ass off. Like the dude literally goes to Florida for 6 weeks before the event, works with all the young guys before any of the other pro guys get there, works the whole time, and he's working. The dude isn't like prima donnaing the situation.
Right.
He's working the whole time he's there. And Justin, there's a reason that Justin plays at the level he does, and it's because he works incredibly hard. He's special.
He has good genes.
Yeah,
he does. His dad was pretty good at paintball too.
So was his brother.
He's pretty good. His brother was good too. Yeah. Absolutely. Good so he, again, I said this before, but like the development of the guys, the whether it was Danny Kuzman or Malloy on the snake side and creating that second tempo and at the right time,
There it is.
And then Karslev being able to break free on the Dorito side. Karslev won a lot of points for us.
Yeah, dude, he would just show up alive on their side of the field, and I'd be like, "Oh, but here he goes."
Yeah, he'd get it. Like he would pay. And there's a image of me talking to him, and that's what we're talking about because it's really uncomfortable for him. He wants to go really fast.
You could. That's the most. I was gonna say it's the most patient, the smartest I've ever seen him play. Where before,
and that's what I'm.
Before he would throw away 2 or 3 points a match, where you'd be like, "Bro, like." You were playing so good, and now you played so bad that it negates how good you were playing earlier. If you would just get rid of the shitty points and just not do anything to those points other than stay alive, you'd be way better overall.
He played amazing to me, right? Like the patience he showed kind of coming out of that Maya. I think he got picked up 1 or 2 times getting out to the corner.
I think I only saw him got shot on that transition 1 time.
Yeah, and he got shot going wide a couple times on the Dorito side, but for the most part, the dude showed up at the right time in so many points and won them.
And all killed a key guy. All you can do in that position is if they're not stopping you, go, right? And that's what he did. Like usually he just goes regardless, whether they're stopping him or not. But this time he was able to be patient and wait for it. And when they weren't on him, he went, took the real estate and made the key shots. Played really well over there.
Yeah, you know, and not to take anything about, I do have to send a shout out just in case he does watch this but I do feel there were certain players. I do feel there were certain players who were playing that Dorito side, that Mayan, and then getting into the Dorito side better than other people. And I think Harrison Fry was certainly one of those people.
Yes.
I can't disagree with you, Ryan. I thought your play was on fire. He was good tempo. But yeah, if you got out there undetected, it was a guaranteed free kill. And if you got out there detected, well, now that snake side push has to pay attention.
Yeah, opens up that middle a little bit more too because the guns come a little bit wider.
So the teams that were able to So the teams that were able to do that really well, and I thought there were a few teams that did it better than others, and it showed. Unfortunately, we failed on that front on Sunday, but my point being that I thought, that was such a huge portion of a game plan. Is that player. That guy had to be a survivalist. He had to be crafty, and he had to be a damn good gunfighter.
Island ball. Good island ball player.
Island ball boy.
Island ball boy. We call that the Corey Hall spot.
That's right.
Yeah, and really you get so kind of disconnected, especially if you lost your back center guy. You're so disconnected from it. You can't even ask where the guns are.
Yeah.
You just reading paint and sort of making a decision, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, Rich Telford?
Yes, the guy in the front.
I'm sorry. I know we're way off subject, but can we go back and talk about Aftershock again?
Sure.
So Aftershock started off last season super good, right? They were like the new up and coming, great team. They got like second or third of one of the events. They did pretty well.
At the third event, they got second.
Third event, they got second. This season, they're not doing as well, right? Is there again something going on there that like we're not seeing from the outside? Because they've got good players, they've got good coaching, and they've got good funding. And I think I keep going back to these top teams that have the players, the coaching, and the funding because it emphasizes just how hard this sport is. Like you can have really good players, you can have an amazing coach, you can have all the things that you need to have, all the funding that you need to have, and still you can go out there and struggle because this is such a hard sport and it's so hard to compete at this level.
Yeah, totally.
I was watching Shock this weekend, and I was just like, and I have a couple friends on the team. I really like a couple guys on the team. I'm kind of messaging like, hey, what's going on? And the answer is like everything. I'm like, well, shit, that's hard to fix. It's hard to fix everything, It's frustrating from the outside to watch these teams that you're a fan of the players, you're a fan of the team, and then they're just struggling, and it always takes me back to this is just the hardest thing I've ever done is trying to run a top professional paintball team.
You just said it, right? So like we've asked that question, and Todd was on here. We asked him like, hey, what's going on? What is your plan? Right. And he's like,
what's plan C? What's plan D? Where are we at?
And he's like, and I'll be honest, like when we did our picks, I didn't pick him because he said, I'm not going to make any changes right now. Right. And I'm like, well, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah. If it wasn't working before and you're not changing anything, it's tough to look for a different outcome.
Yeah.
It's they're a big right way to say this. They're kind of a conundrum, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, you look at it and they're like, you've got all the pieces, right? Why isn't this working? Like you've got all the pieces that you need. And again, it just goes back to people take for granted that if you have money, if you have players, and you have a good coach, you're going to have a winning paintball team. And it's not that simple. It used to be like that. Like if you just got these three components together and you kept those components together for a season or two, you'd have a winning team. Now it's like there's so many layers to this stuff. There's so many things that, like paint management, right? Paint management is such a big part of the game right now that if you don't understand that Paintball Fit is doing a better job than all the other teams at shooting people on the break, and they're also doing a better job than all the other teams at their paint management, and those two things correspond, and you're not making adjustments in your camp, then you're way behind the fucking 8 ball, and like you got to start catching up, man.
Yeah. Again, very similar to the Diesel situation, really. When you think about it.
It's
somebody
crazy.
made this comment. I was going to bring it up. Chris says Aftershock Squad is too emotional. We were kind of just talking about that a little bit.
It could be, and emotions go both ways, right? Emotion can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. When I started coaching NYX, they were a super emotional team, and when we went down a couple points, sometimes they would implode, and when we went up a couple points, sometimes they would go crazy. And it's like riding that emotional wave as a team is tough.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to answer this guy's question again. Austin, I'm the only one with a show that's on the team. So I don't know what, like, I can't tell if you're dumb or if you're confused. I'm trying to be nice to you, but I'm having a hard time.
I'm
the only one on the team with a show.
I mean, I feel like he has to sound like a spokesman since
6 of them are Russian and don't live in America.
Nah.
One of them doesn't have social media who lives here, and the other one has social media, which is Justin, and doesn't get on it because probably of people like you.
Hey, Austin, just a quick FYI, I coach Dynasty and I kind of talk about Dynasty a lot. So
yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the expectation is. I can't tell if you're an adult or if you're 10 or like, I'm trying to be nice, but I'm having a hard time.
All good, Austin. You can stick around and play nice, right? That's all we ask is be respectful. Everyone
try to play smart.
Yeah, play
at
smart,
least.
smart and nice.
Play smart. Like use deductive reasoning. I'm the only one with a show.
See, Rich, I thought this would be your part, but Ryan's doing pretty well on that.
Yeah,
I'm being nice. Trust me.
Ryan is being nice.
I'm being nice because the 95% of the things that are in my head that are not coming out of my mouth.
I'm proud of you.
I'm being nice.
Thank you. You were
because again, I am a man who is has the ability to be violent but chooses to be kind.
Yeah,
not the other way.
Agreed.
I'm glad that we all make those same choices.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, it's important.
The other two hosts have been in the ring before, so
yeah. I've been in the ring, but it was on the street.
Yeah,
it was in a bar. It was on a bus.
I love it. Before you ask a dumb question, ask yourself why. That's right. What's the smartest question in paintball, everybody?
Why? Yeah.
So right, go ahead.
You mentioned too about pit crew.
Yeah,
I want to talk about that really quick. Yeah, so like Paintball Fit and X Factor both now have these like, it's a humongous like tank, right? That is that they're dragging into the pit, and it like has an air conditioner attached to it with like all these hoses. Yeah, it literally looks like a huge robot thing. The one X Factor has that that the guy from Austin built is amazing. Right. And the Paintball Fit one's cool too. Like it's ridiculous how much money.
If you don't have that in your pit, right, don't wonder why they're shooting more people on the break than you are, right? Because it's just a component and it's something you can control, right? It's one of those things that if you're not doing that, then whoever's in charge of that area of the team is not doing everything they can to win, right? Because we're trying to get like 10 or 15 little 15% advantages, right? Like 50% better advantage because we have more brittle paint, like 15% better chance because we work out more than they do. Like there's no, when I started seeing that and then they started winning the breakouts, I would go over and test their paint. I would go test the next paint. I would test New York Extremes paint. And every single time the other team had better paint than we did, more brittle paint than we did. And I was like, guys, like I'm explaining how important
That's Jason Guy. Jason Guy, by the way, congratulations to his team, the Magic City Vulcans. They won D4 5-man. Jason Guy plays for them. I felt very
Congratulations,
inadequate when they drug that thing by.
That's funny.
I love it. I love it. Alabama team's showing up now. Watch out. Right. So, but yeah, but isn't that cool? You make a great point, Rich. They're really investing. The paint is such an important.
You want me to make a better point? I had
a better point.
5 of your guys in the airport at the beginning of last year, and I told Alex I was going to kick him right in the balls if the next event they didn't have an ice chest like that at their event, and he didn't. And I've been looking to kick him in the balls ever since.
Well, by the way, shout out to Alex Frazier, who, by the way, was playing really well on that Dorito side.
Alex always plays good. He's
well.
nasty.
Yeah.
He was playing injured, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think at all of our ages, we're always injured, right?
Right.
We're just doing the best we can.
That's right. So Alex is such a great
100%.
teammate. He's such a great teammate. But I am going to ask him about this. I would love to. First of all, we have a great pit crew, and the paint management's outstanding by the pit crew.
We had just done the Hormesis event. We were at the airport in Ontario. And I was like, hey, man, I don't want to give you guys a hard time, but like, you guys need to take this stuff more seriously. And they're like, yeah, right, Rich, whatever. I'm like, the fact that like Fit has an AC unit and like a paint scientist in their pit, and they're beating you guys by shooting you on the break, and you guys aren't doing anything about it, is making me go crazy right now. Yeah. I was like, please take this seriously. And then so we were arguing. I almost missed my flight. I was like, all right, Alex, I love you to death, and I'm going to tell you how much this is going to hurt me. But next time I see you, if there's not an ice chest in your pit, I'm going to kick you right in the balls. And I still owe him a good ball kick. I forgot about it. I just saw him recently too. I should have kicked him.
All right, I'll let him know that the nut kicking is coming.
Is there any bigger advantage than playing 5-on-4 or 5-on-3?
No, I don't.
Is there any bigger advantage? Anything that you should take more seriously than your paint, right? If your paint is better than the other team's paint and you shoot the same shots and they get bounced and you break, that's a match, man.
Yeah. I like
Yeah, one bounce can cost you.
One bounce.
It does.
Yeah. We lost a 1-on-1 with New York Extreme, and Pat Kraft bounced the guy twice. And I went over and tested both of our paint, and his paint was significantly more brittle than our paint because our paint guy wasn't fucking paying attention. And I was like, guys, this is the difference between first and second place, right? Just played an overtime point, 1-on-1. You bounced him twice. He shot us once. We lost. Like that's the whole tournament. And if you win or lose by that one bouncer, that's on you, and it's something you can control because every paint, the climate is different. Like, so you've got to either get it hotter, get it colder, more brittle, less brittle, and it's a big part of the game.
Yeah.
And having that pit and having the confidence in that pit is huge, right? And having your players have confidence in the pit is huge.
I'm getting texts from people who are sending all these different refrigerator dual zone.
Yeah.
Travis. All the stuff.
Travis is the guy's name in Austin who built the one that sent it.
Yeah, dude, it's Dan found one for us for NYX. He did the research, and so we used one at the last event that we played, and it worked. Like, it was the paint that came out of that cooler was significantly colder than the paint that was in the ice chest.
Yeah, that ain't cheap though.
No. Oh, is it expensive? Oh, it's going to be expensive to win. Let's not do if it's going to be expensive.
Stop
guys.
it.
If it's going to be expensive,
weren't we talking about money?
No, I don't want to do it.
If it's talking about what kind of budget do you have, Rich?
If it's going to be hard or expensive, I don't want to do it. I do want to win, but not if it's going to be hard or expensive.
Look, if it's hard, I'll do it. If it's expensive, I might second guess myself.
Alex can
Joey
Konopinski
makes a great point. The paint truck location event, agreed, right? For the pro teams, finally. The paint truck location was like we were getting
that's a big difference.
Yeah, 3 cases, and then when the first point started, go get 2.
Fresh. Just keep.
And then when the second point, go get 2.
Yeah.
Right. And then go get 2, and then you'll get to like point 3 or 4, and you don't need one.
And you were talking about playing more points than other teams anticipated. If those guys hadn't got enough paint because they didn't plan on playing as fast as you guys were playing, that's another advantage to playing faster.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
That's a great question. How many points did you play again in the prelims, Ryan? Do you know off the top of your head? Because I think Dynasty. I think we played like 25 or 20.
I think you played the most.
Yeah, you guys were playing a lot of points.
I think you played the most, but we also had 2 mercy. Well, 1 mercy rule and 1 almost mercy rule.
Okay. Because there was one point I was
20, 27.
27. Well, I think we played 26, so you played the most.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's one point where I was screaming at Harry to hit the buzzer. I wanted to get another point in because I felt like that margin was going to be huge. So
yeah, 27.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. So heading into Texas, it's gonna be a
wild one.
It's gonna be a wild one
for the bottom 3 teams and for the top 6 or so teams, and then for that middle pack.
Yeah, the bottom 3. Goodness.
Yeah.
Hey, before we move on, I want to say a couple things really quick. One, this was the very first, and I hope this shocks Rich as much as it did me because of how much he's seen this guy play from the beginning. This was the very first time Kirill Peridny has ever won at a tournament MVP.
Wow, that's incredible.
The very first time.
Crazy. Yeah.
The Kirill Peridny.
Right.
Like I walked the Golden Barrel guy out there to him.
That's awesome.
And he
Good job,
hands it to Kirill,
He
and
deserved
literally
it, man.
dude, agreed.
He deserved
His
it.
face
He's such a big
dropped.
part of that team, man.
He's the leader. He's the guy. He's our captain, right?
Yeah.
Like, but his
He's
face
the guy.
kind of dropped, and he was like, "Oh my god, this is the first time I've ever won this." And I was
Well,
like, "Get
well
out of
deserved,
here,
man. Well
yeah,
deserved.
get." But I can think of like 10 other times he should have won it.
100%. Like, yeah, it's. I'm so glad that he
shocking.
got it. Yeah, so glad that he got it.
Yeah. So congratulations to him, and then also just wanted to say thank you to the other coaches, Alexi and Max. It certainly takes a village to do what we do, and it was just from the preparation and how focused these guys are to the tournament time. You know, Max came in right before the event, and Alexi and I did all the prep, and it was just the focus and it's not just the focus, it's the language they use when they're talking about the layout. And I want to be clear about what I'm talking about. They don't talk about how we're going to stop things, slow things down, or keep something from happening. Every conversation and every scenario we go through is how do we attack it?
How do I get to the spot where I need to get to kill everybody?
Yeah.
How do we attack it? So
I'm so happy that you guys are doing so well with the program. To me, you guys are right now the strongest program out there. I love the 6 weeks thing. I love the player. I think you need to add a couple more players to your program still. But I love the program. I love what you're doing with it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
It's amazing, and it's a top-down thing, right? From the owners to the coaching staff to the players, and I mean they
all the time.
They are so you talk to Sergey, like the tempo is such a critical part of the way the Red Legion mentality is, and I love, like, they take a lot of pride in their team, like you said, from the top on down. And that means a lot. Like, they've been a good team for a long time. They struggled for a while. It's really good to see them back on top. It's great to see you in the program. I'm happy all the way around. For as unhappy as I am about Diesel and some of those other teams, I'm equally happy for you guys.
Yeah. Congratulations, my friend. It was well-earned, well-deserved, well-fought. So listen, coming into Texas, our top tier, Paintball Fit is still in the lead. Matter of fact, Red Legion closed that distance a little bit within striking distance. 26 points. Close. Yeah, so you got Red Legion. So your tier 1 is Paintball Fit. Red
16
Legion,
points.
16. It is 16 points, isn't it? 16 points. Paintball Fit first, Red Legion second, San Diego Dynasty third, and Edmonton Impact round out the top tier. So your second tier teams now in 5th place are Tauntaun FSU, San Antonio X Factor 6th, Houston Heat in 7th, and Tampa Bay Damage rounds out second tier.
That's a tough second tier team.
That is that second tier.
Which one?
Which one? All of
X Factor, Heat,
those 4 teams
Damage
are second are a tough team.
I mean, you could almost swap the second tier with the first, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So now 3rd tier, Baltimore Arsenal, Los Angeles Ironmen, New Orleans Hurricanes, and Chicago Aftershock. So Arsenal is 9th, Ironmen 10th. Actually, they're tied with the Hurricanes.
Yep.
The Ironmen and Hurricanes are tied for 10th. Chicago Aftershock at 12th. So that's your 3rd tier. Your 4th tier, this is crazy, is 13th Seattle Uprising, AC Diesel at 14th, Royal City Sea Dogs 15th, and Infamous in 16th, with your 5th tier being Aftermath, Energy Elite, New York Extreme, and Leverage.
How do you like being in the 4th tier and getting either Infamous or Diesel in your bracket?
Here's what I'm thinking. How do you like being in, getting either Infamous or Diesel and then grabbing anyone from the 2nd tier
and then throwing an Aftermath in there?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, because we already know the brackets, when you guys see it, bracket A is nasty.
Looking pretty good.
It's nasty. It's nasty.
It's going to be spicy. It's going to be a spicy one.
It's going to be real spicy. I'm excited about that one.
That's going to be fun.
We'll talk about it next week because it should be out next week.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I would say that I would say definitely bracket A is not just going to be spicy. It's going to
Train
be
wreck.
Oh, hang on. It might be out. Oh, no, it's not.
okay.
Just,
All right.
So
just
close.
the registration.
So close.
I was going to say if it was, we'll talk about it right now.
I was about to
Yeah,
say
it's-
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think
it's
bracket
nasty.
A and bracket B are both going to be exciting. The other two brackets are going to be, I honestly, this season, I think who knows, right? I mean, who knows? There's just there's some good matchups out there. There's some good stories out there, everything about it. It's been a crazy season, but I will say this, I am looking forward to this short little break we have.
Yeah, it's nice.
It is nice. I'm going to spend as much time getting caught up on work as I can so I can
Stupid
come
work.
and then, but I'm probably I need to spend some time with my family. I hope all of you are spending time with your friends and family and, so don't forget, I
Right.
believe this month is mental health month. So check in on your friends, please.
Yeah, we're almost at the end, right?
Yeah, we are.
Men's mental health month.
So,
Hey, this has been really fun, guys. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
you know what, Rich?
Hey,
let's do this again. Let's take a
Yeah,
poll.
let's make this a regular thing.
Let's do
Can we
it.
please?
I'm actually available all the time. So just let me know.
Let's do this. I want to take a poll. I want to
Ooh.
go on the coaches.
I usually go
Facebook page.
50-50. Like some people like me and then some people hate me.
But that's what I want to do. I think you're gonna. I just want to see because I know it's going to be super popular, right? So I want to do it. I think matter of fact in the chat right now, Rich should be on every one of our after event shows. I think you're going to get a resounding. Already got a yes.
Oh, thanks,
This
guys.
is the conversation we
I'll take
had.
This is
Was that Friday
yep.
of the layout, Rich?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Friday, Rich calls me and we're talking about the layout and how we're playing it. And I was like, dude, would you please come on the show on our after shows? Because Mike and I can't say a lot of things we want to say.
If you hear me saying some crazy shit, it probably came from Ryan and Mike. It wasn't me, guys. It wasn't me.
Now you guys know I always try to find the positive in all things, much to some chagrin. But I've been, listen, I think you put it out there, right? There's that. I think that's what people appreciate about you. There is no
the
filter.
uncomfortable things for sure.
There it is. And I think that's what people look at it's blowing up. People are just blowing up saying, heck yeah, it's a no brainer,
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
So
Michael F., did you guys talk about the 3-man event happening at Disney? So we don't have all the details. Again, I know some other shows have talked about it, but on our show, we try to just talk about facts. We try to stay away from rumors. So on July the 8th is supposed to be the date that we'll have all the details. And there's a really good chance that we will go live with President Tom Cole to release all the details about how that's going to work, how you guys can watch it, all that kind of shit. So we should have all of that by July 8th. We don't want to speculate. I can tell you what we know. There's 14, the top 4 teams, which is Paintball Fit, Red Legion, Dynasty, and Impact will be going to Disney World and playing some sort of thing there. We don't know whether it's 3-man, 5. We don't know yet. I would be willing to bet that it is
3-man.
3-man. I would be willing to bet.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure. It's going to depend on the amount of space we have to work with. But yeah, it's really awesome opportunity. It's going to be live. So it will be live, not a post-produced show. It will be live, which is going to be chaos.
That's
very interesting.
Ballsy. Balls. I like the balls on those guys.
Look, we're doing this. We're going to start this too. I like this. Need to have a Hero of the Day award that Rich presents on every after show.
Oh, I really like that.
That's a great idea.
I think that is a great idea. And
Thanks,
that's
Scott. That's a good one.
That's from Atlantic Scott. Scott, you're the man. I appreciate that. So yeah, we write that down. I love
That's
it.
a great idea.
It is.
I love it.
Me too.
100%.
I love it. Anyway, the ESPN thing is really, really cool. And by the way, they called Tom. Tom didn't go to them. They called Tom and said,
"That's good.
Do you think we can do this?" And so it's not going to cost the league a bunch of money. Awesome. In fact, I don't know all the details, but it sounds like it's really good for the league.
Good, man. That's what we need, more of that.
Totally. Yeah.
Agreed.
Everybody gets weird about all the things Tom's trying to do. I want to mention this too, because I think it's important.
Please do.
Do you know when Tom called every single one of the pro teams to play the 3 versus 3? You know what they said?
How much?
Except for one. No, nobody
no.
even cared about that. One team came back with a weird response. Every other team said, absolutely.
Awesome. That's the way it should be.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want to test something? No problem.
Yeah.
We're in.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That,
only 18 teams participated, though, right?
But think about Rich, like 10 years ago, that would not have happened.
No, for sure. Yeah, no.
That would not have happened. The owner group at that point and the team owners would have gone. It would have been Clash of the Titans, dude.
100%. Yeah.
Agreed.
Chaos for sure. Yeah.
That's why we never did anything with TV in the past, where every time we worked with ESPN, we were so chaotic for our side and everyone was fighting to try to get control and to try to do whatever. It was just a train wreck, man.
Yeah. Yep. And again, like, I don't think, number one, we weren't ready.
No,
right?
For sure.
Like, when you think about even the pro league maturity now versus then, and how kind of we acted back then versus now, it's
I mean, back in the old days, they used to fight at the events.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that at a modern event? Come on.
Well, and think about this too. Like, the guys back then would, like, as soon as the match was over, were pounding beers, right?
What?
Now,
I never saw that.
Now the guys are going to get treatment and they're getting massages and they're getting
nice
IVs. Yeah. And again, they're much older, right?
Yeah.
They're much older. So it's, man, the state of the league right now is in a really good place.
Yeah.
It's in a really good, and
I think
we've
all worked really hard for a long time to get it there.
Yeah.
By the way, correction, Ryan, we played 2 more points than you.
Busted.
Okay. I thought you did.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, 26 doesn't sound. I had the 6 inverted. It's 29.
Yeah, I thought you guys were first in points and we were second.
Yeah.
That's
By the way,
yeah. When I
now if this isn't positive, I don't know what is. J.A. Alexander at Major League Baseball. Thank you, Rich and MWAG for Heroes for a Day. That's Monkey with a Gun.
Monkey with a Gun, baby.
That movie changed my life with Mental Health Month. That movie helps get through the hard times. Incredible piece of PB history.
Thanks, man. That was an incredible movie. Pat Spurlock definitely killed it. It was a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. I guess Rich is now a new regular.
Amazing.
Right? It's going to be great.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Bullied him into it.
Yeah.
The audience.
I love it.
We'll be getting canceled soon.
Probably.
Sorry.
As long as we make it, I think it's 5 minutes. We can't cuss.
Oh, good.
It's 7.
Yeah.
First
7 minutes. First 7 minutes.
You
No
can't
curse words.
I'll try
After
not to
that,
cuss at all. Every once in a while, one might slip out.
Well, just FYI.
I should have lied and said the first 20.
Yeah.
We try to make the intro at least 7 minutes, so we don't.
Yeah, that's really clever. Yeah.
That's what I forgot to work on, Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen,
done.
I'm going to work on an intro, a new intro.
Good.
And it's going to be it's not going to be what you think. We're going for a 1970s like game show theme.
Ba-dum-bump.
Yeah, so Jay Alexander says, they're still fighting in paintball. Semi-pro got wild this week. Yeah, we heard.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we heard.
Pro got wild too, it sounded like.
Yeah, pro got a little weird too.
Hey, I heard Tracy's got some golden gloves in her.
Why are you saying names? Why are you saying names?
I shouldn't have said
that poor guy on PB Mob, right? Because it's terrible to get beat up by a woman, but it's even worse because what was he going to do? Punch back and then get killed by him? And for God's sake,
stop it. We're not supposed to be talking about this. By the way, Tracy, I'm proud of you.
I am too.
I'm proud of her.
When I heard about it, I was like, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Someone's got it.
Yeah. Someone's got it. All right, guys.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the legend Rich Telford for joining us tonight, and all future post shows will be with Rich Telford. We're really excited to have him. Thank you to Major League Paintball, Major League Paintball Plus, Tom Cole, Kevin Fillers, Alex Sorensen, and Darren Cessna. This show is brought to you by Max Sportswear. When you need custom paintball gear, get Maxed. And for BKI, the best knowledge in paintball. For Mike Bianca, I'm Ryan Gray. As always, be responsible.
Electric wall.